This is Falcon's flight, and it's set to break the record for the tallest roller coaster in the world. A surprising feat, considering the coaster wars ended nearly 20 years ago. But is Falcon's flight just a gimmick to draw crowds to the new Six Flags park? And what sets it apart from other record-breaking coasters? Believe it or not, there are over 5,400 roller coasters operating worldwide, with dozens more added every year.
I gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
This means even if you tried, you probably couldn't ride every coaster in existence. Today, there's a massive push for innovation and uniqueness across roller coaster design. Companies like RMC, Intamin, and Mach Rides are pushing the envelope, creating rides with new elements and effects to ensure that riders keep coming back. We're witnessing some of the most innovative rides ever built. I'd say we're in the golden age of roller coasters, but it wasn't always this way. In fact, in the early 20th century, roller coasters struggled to attract crowds due to safety concerns, economic downturns, and general disinterest in these wooden machines. But don't worry, folks, Disney was there to save the day.
I got you, homie!
By the 1940s, Walt Disney had a very specific vision in mind. He wanted a new generation of amusement parks, with storytelling, immersive environments, and innovative rides. One of Disneyland's earliest innovations was the Matterhorn bobsleds. This coaster was a significant departure from traditional wooden coasters. Not only was it Disneyland's first coaster, but it's one of the earliest examples of a steel coaster using a tubular track, an invention that would pave the future of roller coaster design. This allowed for more intricate designs compared to normal wooden coasters. This new technology, along with a complete themed ride experience, not only attracted millions to the park, but it set a new standard for what was possible for roller coasters. A new era began as theme parks around the world began investing in steel coaster technology. In 1942, the Racer opened at Kings Island. This wooden twin-track coaster might not look that crazy, but it marked the early days of theme parks vying for attention through record-breaking attractions. While it didn't focus on height, its fierce marketing and competitive spirit set the stage for what we know as the Coaster Wars. And rounding out the decade, Kings Island did it again with the Beast. This legendary coaster is a literal piece of history, completely redefining what a wooden coaster can achieve. The ride set new benchmarks for length and speed, and demonstrated that terrain and landscape could be integrated creatively into the coaster layout.
Very smart.
But everything changed in 1989 when the height wars officially began. Cedar Point solidified its place in the theme park world with the release of Magnum XL 200. Towering at 195 feet, Magnum absolutely shattered records and heralded a new era in roller coaster history, sparking intense competition among parks to have the tallest roller coaster at their park. The record began bouncing around like a hot potato as the 1990s showed major scaling in the coaster wars. Japan held the record several times, including Moonsault Scramble in Fujiyama, solidifying their place in the game. But as you know, America does not mess around, especially when it comes to thrills.
Oh yeah.
But apparently neither does Australia. In 1997, Dreamworld in Queensland briefly held the record with Tower of Terror. The ride stood at 377 feet and almost acted as a drop tower. It's a really bizarre coaster model, and it almost seems like it was a quick mock-up design just to get a park that beloved tallest coaster title, which everyone wanted back in the day. And taking things even further, Magic Mountain debuted their Intamin shuttle coaster, Superman Escape from Krypton, towering at 415 feet. These coasters were beginning to enter this danger zone where high intensity was becoming more and more prevalent, with Superman pulling a max 4.5 Gs. So how much further could these theme parks push these limits before they became one of those monstrosities you make in Planet Coaster?
So it starts off with a phenomenal boost, then you get to go through 50 lateral Gs, and the coaster goes ahead and sends you to hell.
Top Thrill Dragster and King Ka marked the peak of the coaster wars, setting new records for height and speed that remained unchallenged for nearly 2 decades. These engineering marvels pushed the height to the extreme, with King Ka taking the crown at 456 feet tall. Both coasters utilize hydraulic launch systems to get their trains over the top hats. However, the pursuit of ever taller roller coasters became increasingly costly and unreliable. These hydraulic launches faced many maintenance issues and caused quite a bit of downtime for these coasters. So parks began focusing on other forms of innovation, such as better ride elements, pacing, and thematic storytelling. Rather than just promoting height records, parks started emphasizing regional or unique distinctions, like tallest coaster in the Northeast, achieving similar excitement without the need for global superlatives. And in 2011, companies like Rocky Mountain Construction revolutionized coaster design by transforming aging wooden coasters into thrilling hybrid models. Meanwhile, manufacturers like Intamin and Mock Rides continued pushing boundaries. New innovations like swing launches, never-before-seen elements, and cinematic effects. It seems that they finally learned that you don't need to have the tallest coaster in the world to attract a large audience.
It's a no-brainer.
And here we are, 20 years later, as Falcon's Flight prepares to be the new record-breaking coaster. The highlight? A massive 530-foot camelback hill. This element promises to give some of the most insane floater airtime on any coaster. Opposed to a traditional lift hill, Falcon's Flight will utilize an LSM launch to reach its max speed of 155 miles per hour. At first, I questioned the legitimacy of this project, and part of me still does, but we now have regular construction updates, so it's definitely happening for sure.
It's happening. It's happening. It's happening. It's happening.
But it's hard not to see this as more than just a spectacular gimmick applied to draw viewers to a theme park in the desert. And as we prepare for Falcon's Flight, take a trip down memory lane.